Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Stock Market Today. It's Coram and Shreve here with a breakdown of the action in today's session. And after some early weakness, we did see a lot of ground made up by the close, Ken. So we will go over those market conditions and check in on a couple of stocks. What do you have for us today?
Yes, indeed. Nice rally off lows for the major stock indexes. We'll take a look at three stocks that acted pretty well today. One of the few stocks left standing on leaderboard, Vertex Pharmaceuticals, VRTX, moved above its 50-day moving average. Also take a look at CASY's General Stores, which is in a strong industry group. And finally, in the utility group, Electric Utilities Southern Company made a nice move today.
All right, well, analysis of those charts headed at you shortly, but first let's take a look at those major indexes. It ended up being a mixed day. In the positive category, we had the Dow up about 0.5%, the S&P 500 following behind with a gain of 0.3%. The NASDAQ down 0.25%, but it does look like QQQ, the NASDAQ 100, closing in positive territory today. Small caps, though, pretty hard hit. The Russell on track for a loss of about 1.4% headed into the close. Ken, could we be seeing a short-term bottom here? I know it's been a couple of days that we've been talking about being in oversold levels. So could this be where we get a bounce?
Well, possibly. I think, yes, the market is definitely oversold. It's been oversold for a little while now, but we do have this jobs report tomorrow, which is the big wild card. And, we had the NASDAQ composite that was down 2.2% intraday today, ended with a loss of 0.2%, 0.3%, something like that. So there were definitely buyers coming in here, and NASDAQ volume does look like it's going to be higher than what we saw yesterday. So that is compelling. Still below the 50-day moving average here. We have to, remember all of the whole situation that brought us down below the 12,000 level, clustering of distribution days. So, we get a day of strength like this is probably, too early to declare a new uptrend here. But certainly tomorrow's jobs report is going to be critical, and might be a hold on to your hats session tomorrow.
Right. We could see that be a catalyst for either direction. So hard to make big bets at this point, even with that intraday reversal. I mean, could have added some market exposure, but that is, like you said, such an unknown at this point.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, it's just hard to see how the market is going to react to the jobs number. I think we're in a position right now where the market wants to see soft economic data. I don't think the market wants to see a hugely positive jobs report here. Could rally if it's a weak report, but really it's anyone's guess. But we are still looking at a market that was in a distribution phase headed into today, and we had a nice day, but still a lot of damaged charts out there. So we'll just have to see what tomorrow brings. But certainly compelling to see a weak open followed up by a pretty strong close today.
Yeah, still a damaged market for now, but we'll see what tomorrow brings. One more technical note on the chart. It looks like we did almost find some support. We did, actually. This is slightly delayed. Find some support at this lower channel line connecting the lows. We'll have to see, will that hold? Could we retake 12,000 in the 50-day line? If we do get a bounce, clearing a pretty steep trend line there. These are all things that we will be looking at come tomorrow. And I'm going to quickly breeze through some of the other major indexes so we can get to those individual stocks. So here's a look at the S&P reversing higher, but still below its 50-day line and that 4,000 level. We also have the Dow. Here's the DIA ETF with an upside reversal. Same story, below a round number and that key moving average. IWM, the Russell 2000 here, off its lows, but down still pretty solidly for the day, below its 50-day line. And next, let's talk about some stocks, Ken. So first on the list, we have Vertex in the biotech space, retaking its 50-day line today, a gain of 3%. So definitely outpacing the broad market here. Volume light, though, does look like it's on the verge of clearing a downtrend.
Yes, indeed, and this is just one of 4 stocks remaining on leaderboard. We had quite a list of stocks when we were in this nice tradable rally, but took some profits, had to cut losses short in some other names, but Vertex is still on the list. Yeah, not much volume behind the move above the 50-day moving average, but like the slope of the relative strength line here, it's a stock that continues to be very well, highly rated in our database. Vertex, mostly known for its cystic fibrosis franchise, but they released data not that long ago about this non-opioid painkiller, which is showing great efficacy in some trials. So there's optimism that this is going to be another blockbuster for the company. So not surprising to see Vertex holding up well here, and it is being given the benefit of the doubt on leaderboard for now.
All right. Well, potential entry if it does clear this trend line, I think, especially if it had some volume behind it. But again, the market, we definitely want that cooperating when we are making new buys. I feel like at this point, it's kind of hard to stick your neck out, even in a strong looking stock, just given the weight of the overall market. Again, that could change as soon as tomorrow. But in the meantime, we'll be keeping our watch list fresh with names just like Vertex. Let's also take a quick look at CASY's general stores here. The super and mini markets group, Ken, is ranked 6 out of 197, snuck up there. CASY here up about 1%, an upside reversal at the 21-day line. Looks kind of like a high handle here, but some constructive action with earnings due in less than a week.
Right, yeah, and I was just writing about CASY's general stores in my earnings preview column that will post tomorrow. Yeah, I first got introduced to this group by a company called Murphy USA, MUSA, which has been a sort of a mainstay in the IBD 50 for some time, and it's a very similar looking chart. So maybe it's just kind of a stable track record of earnings that a lot of these convenience store operators offer, but I just like CASY's price action here. While most stocks, a lot of stocks, I should say, are below their 50-day moving averages, and CASY's is still holding on to a nice short-term support level here. It's a 21-day line. It's the same old story. There hasn't been much volume behind the stock's move up close to that 220 level, but it's been a low volume pullback here. And we've talked yesterday about the number of high-quality stocks that are kind of finding support at their 21-day lines here. So that's interesting, and got that relative strength line jumping into new high ground. So a stock that is acting well in a very suspect tape here.
Mm-hmm. All right, and last but not least, checking in on Southern Company in the utility space, ticker SO, an upside reversal of its own right around that 21-day line. It's seen a pretty strong advance from those mid-June lows, but not a very pretty looking base that it broke out of, Ken, with a lot of heavy volume selling right there in the middle of it.
Yeah, but it did manage to rally, and it started with a really nice move above the 75 level, and then ran up to the 80 level, and another stock that's finding support here right at the 21-day moving average. So I think this was a pretty good breakout over a trend line that you just highlighted here when the stock initially crossed 75. But yet another stock, sort of like CASY's, that is finding support at the 21-day line here. You get a good dividend yield with Southern Company being a utility, but this is one of the better electric utility. Consider it an institutional quality stock that is showing strength in this market. Another good one to keep an eye on here.
Yes, notable relative strength in recent weeks. Well, that wraps it up for today. Wanted to breeze through the show because we have a Swing Trader Scorecard webinar to get to. So if you are a subscriber or trialist, make sure you head to swingtrader.investors.com for our monthly webinar starting in a little over 10 minutes from now, where we will be reviewing performance for the month of August. Another couple of quick shout outs. Our podcast episode dropped today. We have a weekly podcast, Investing with IBD, hosted by our own Justin Nielsen. New episodes every Thursday. And this week, the team spoke with Andrew Channon back on the show, talking about the FEMA ETF, which is how you can play those expensive disasters, some of the companies that have exposure to that. So for that conversation, go to investors.com/podcast. And coming up tomorrow morning on IBD Live, we'll welcome back our weekly special guest on the podcast to IBD Live, and that is Arusha Pierce. We get him on live once a month. So looking forward to having O'Neill Global Advisors Portfolio Manager Arusha Pierce back on the show. We'll see you there, investors.com/IBD Live for all the details on that. And we'll also see you right back here tomorrow after the close to cap off the week.